Welcome to the Candace's Pack Dog Rescue Show with your host, JP Mendoza.
Thank you very much, Taniya, and thank you out there for tuning into this bonus episode. Recently, my friend and head trainer at Happy Social Dog, April Sullivan, invited me for an Instagram live chat. This is the audio from that conversation. You can watch the video on the Happy Social Dog Instagram page. Also, April will be the next guest on this show on Monday, March 15th. Hope you enjoy.
Hey there. We made it work.
How are you doing?
Good. How's it going, April?
It's going good. It's trying to be spring here, so I'm a little bit happier.
Oh,
right?
Good. Yeah. I have no idea what the weather is like in the Northwest. So is it usually kind of cold around this time, or?
Yeah, we're still like in the 40s. We had snow Friday night, I think. I woke up Saturday morning and we had to shovel about 3 inches, but it melted off during the day. And yeah.
Does it stay in the 40s all day, or is it like the low, or?
Yesterday was in the 40s, so like 40, 50s right now, and then we'll move up.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's weird. It's weird here in north central Florida because it might be 40, 41 degrees in the morning, and then it'll shoot up to like 75.
Yeah.
So it's really frustrating trying to dress for that, you know.
Well, it's the same way here. You have to have about 50 different outfits in your car if you're out, because it could rain, it could snow. You have no idea. So, yeah. Just go with the flow, man.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me on your Instagram channel.
Most definitely. So let's just get started because, I've got the agenda written out and taped up on my little ring here. So I stick to the plan.
Let's do it, April. Let's do it.
We'll go. Okay. So we're going to start with introduction. Let's talk about how we met. And you want to talk or you want me to talk?
Sure. So we met last October at the Lucas Agnew Workshop out in California on Sherry Wolf Lucas's property, her beautiful property. And you brought your dog Smidge.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And I had a working spot, but I had a loner dog. And we were both doing our work spots, the 20-minute sessions, and we both worked with Brian and Sherry. We just kind of switched off as the days went on.
Yeah. Who did you have? What dog did you have? I can't remember. Was it Braun or?
I had Roxy.
Oh, Roxy. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Roxy, very, very sweet, big pit bull. I believe she had just gotten there because one of the dogs in her household was attacking her, and the owners thought that, I guess, Roxy was the issue because she had anxiety, and they contacted Sherry, and she ended up being there. And since I went there without my dog, and I needed a dog to work in the working spot, Sherry just offered me Roxy, and I said, definitely, let's do it. That's why I was there. I wanted to be exposed to as many different kind of dogs as I could, so that I can learn. And that was a perfect experience, working with a dog, learning new things with a dog that I had never worked with before. It was awesome. It was great 3 days. And then the other awesome part was meeting people like you.
Yes. So I would just say I don't go to workshops, and I'm pretty shy, right? And you've got a great personality. You just gravitated to everybody. But I'm kind of particular about who I talk to. This sounds really snotty, but it's not snotty. It's just because I'm just kind of keep to myself. But sure. I'm kind of drawn to people who have really good energy and who really are more like me, that really want to learn. And that's you. And that's why I like you so much. You're just so driven to get as much information as you can. And I think that's why I connected with you so much, is that you just kind of reminded me of myself. But
well, I think you I'm humbled by the compliment, so thank you for that. I think I just try to be I try to put out the energy that I want from other people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
right.
obviously other, some people are a little bit more introverted. Some people are more extroverted. I actually learned in the 2020, everybody's crazy year. I actually learned that I'm an extroverted person. That might sound weird to you, but it's not something that I ever really thought about until you end up going into a situation like we had with the pandemic, and then you start taking away all the in-person activities and things like that, and then you realize, wow, like I really do kind of thrive around people, and I do like to learn and have conversations with people. So so yeah, and I think it's really awesome to hear you say this too, April, because I remember when we were at the end of the workshop, we were taking pictures with Brian and Sherry, and I remember you were like, you were almost kind of adamant that I contact Greg out of Jacksonville.
Yes.
And because you knew that we would have a good connection, and he would be a good resource to learn from. So again, I thank you for that. And I just remember that one of our interactions, because you telling me that you're more of a shy person, you actually kind of went out of your way to say, hey, contact this guy.
So sometimes I get going though, and then it's just like, you can't shut me up. I guess if you say it, like if I think about it, maybe I am a little extroverted. I like to talk to people and have conversations, but I just, I don't know. I think it's just, I'm really cautious about things. It's just me, right? And that's just my old baggage I carry around that I have to learn to let go of because it impacts my training.
Sure. I was just going to mention too, I mean, you kind of have to be extroverted to be a trainer, right? You have to you have to know how to communicate with people, not offend them, and figure out a way so that they can relate to what you're telling them. Because sometimes it's not a matter of, hey, hold the leash like this, or don't do that with your dog. It's not a matter of, hey, don't do this and do this. It's a matter of, hey, I need to give you examples or pictures or use different words so that person can relate to what I'm saying, and it clicks with them. So some people are visual, some people you can just tell them once and they do it. It all just depends on the person, right?
Yep. So I see one of my clients, then she can't stop talking. So thank you, McKenna. I love that. Okay. All right. So let's move on to you and what your mission. Like, talk about your mission.
Yeah. So I would say about almost 7 years ago now, my wife and I adopted our dog. Her name is Candace. And we made all the classic mistakes. And in fact, it was actually my idea to get a dog. And I wanted to get a German short hair pointer and see if you can count all the classic mistakes that I made. Okay.
Okay.
So I used to work at an animal hospital, and one of my favorite dogs that used to come in for boarding was a German short hair pointer. So since she was one of my favorites, I said to myself, one day I'm going to get a dog just like this. Okay. And I left that job, and I always had it in the back of my mind, one day I'm going to have this German short hair pointer just like that girl, just like her. And time came, and I was with my wife, and we said, hey, we can probably get a dog now. I've always wanted a German short hair pointer, and my wife was all about it, and she said, okay, yeah, let's do it. So I went to an online rescue website where you don't really meet the dogs, because the rescue website, they're based out of South Carolina, and we were in New Jersey. So I had no way other than driving down to South Carolina to meet the dog, to make sure we were compatible. I had no idea what the personality of this dog was going to be, but it's not something I ever considered. I didn't know that there were different energies of dogs. I just thought, which is crazy to hear me say this, because I worked at a vet's office where we would have crazy dogs come in. Yeah, well, we would have crazy dogs that would come in, and some of them would be really aggressive, some of them would be really sweet. But I always figured that the really aggressive dogs were aggressive because they're at a vet's office. Like, we're poking and prodding, and we're trying to get blood and all this and that. So it's not something I ever really thought about. And I just assumed, great, I'm going to get this breed, and this dog's going to play fetch with me all day, and we're going to be happy, and everything's going to be great. Well, long story short, we ended up getting her, and she was a very shy, fearful, back of the pack, very timid, and I just didn't understand. I said, what happened to this dog? like, I guess she was abused. Because she doesn't have a very nice history. We don't know exactly what's true or what's not, but all we know is what they told us, which is that they found her at a like an overnight pen at a kill shelter somewhere in South Carolina.
Okay.
So she was in the shelter, got pulled from the shelter into the rescue, and then that's when we got her. So they didn't know a lot about her or her background at all. So when we got her, I had to figure out, oh my God, how do I make this work? I've never had a dog like this. Our family dogs growing up, I didn't have a fearful dog. And so we hired a behaviorist. And when the behaviorist came over, she just opened up my world. She opened up the doors to a world that I never knew existed, which was the world of dog behavior and how you use behavior-based methods to kind of retrain your dog or change their behavior because of the relationship that you have with you and your dog, if that makes sense.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm like, say what? I have no idea what any of this means. And I was so hungry for more information after the first consultation. I just went everywhere as much as I could I had her on my show. Actually, she was my first interview, the behaviors that we had, my podcast. And, I would send her text messages asking her all these questions. Oh, Candace did this, but Candace did that, and she's not doing this. And I was bothering her way too much. So I ended up watching a whole bunch of old episodes of Dog Whisperer and just studying the shows and all the cases. And long story short, I was very inspired by the positive changes I saw in my dog. And because she came out of her shell and because I was able to present myself in a better leadership type of energy, she was no longer afraid of me. She didn't have to, she didn't see me as my energy being too strong for hers because she's all the way down here. Right. I learned to not be frustrated because this isn't something the dog is doing on purpose. This is something that the dog is it's just the way she is. It's just who she is. And I had to understand that. And once I understood that, I started getting the hang of like being able to work with her and being able to expose her. She was able to trust me. That's the number one biggest thing, is building that trust. And after that, I just kind of took off with it. And I tried to help some other friends and family members, help them with their dog issues. And I would just try to just research, okay, what can I do to help? And I was never an actual dog trainer. And dog training is actually not something I was ever interested in. But when my wife and I were planning our move to Florida, I knew it was going to be a career change for me. And I figured, okay, what can I do every day where I'm actually making a difference, where I'm waking up and I have a purpose. And that's when I came up with the rescue idea. And what I wanted to do was rescue dogs, pull them out of shelters, and create my own rescue pack and just do pack-based activities and do some training sessions and have them so that they are all at a good level so that they're ready to be rehomed, and not only ready to be rehomed, but on a permanent basis. And part of the mission is also, you can't have one without the other, right? You have to have education. So people need to be educated to be able to live with their dog. And I don't want somebody who adopts a dog from me to tell me 3 months later, hey, listen, JP, this isn't working. Like, this dog just completely changed after I pulled him out from your rescue. Well, did you follow like some of the directions, the leadership that we talked about? Like that's kind of the basis of the mission, is to rescue dogs out of the shelters, to give them a second chance, and also to educate the people so that the people know what's expected of them before they adopt a dog. And also energy matching. It shouldn't be a first come, first serve. It should be, come by the rescue. Let's do, volunteer. Let's do some pack walking. Let's do some activities together. Let's see if this dog and you are a good match for each other. So I'm not going to be a high volume rescue. I want to be just a high quality rescue. I want somebody to be able to, right. I want somebody to be able to look at me and be like, oh, well, if you get a dog from JP, that dog is going to be very well behaved leaving the rescue. It's up to you to do the rest. And that's kind of the reputation that I want. What's the point of rescuing 1,000 dogs in a year, or 2,000, 3,000 dogs when those relationships aren't working and they're going to go back to a shelter or be returned to the rescue or be rehomed somewhere else? So
Right.
it's quality over quantity for me anyway.
Well, that's my thing that I always teach: quality over quantity. So I can really jive with that. Yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah.
And the other thing I think I told you when I was down in Florida this in January was there's not a lot of male trainers that I meet that can handle a sensitive dog. And that the fact that you learn how to do that and learn how to adjust your energy to help your dog really just, I applaud that, because there's just not, usually there are more like, oh, I want all the aggressive dogs, but it's the sensitive dogs that really need that extra help and that extra like support, I guess. Not the coddling, it's just the support, like the guidance, right?
Yeah.
And you figured that out, and I think that's awesome. Like that's, I think one of the other favorite things about you that I figured out in January. Once I met Candace, I was like, holy shit, look, I have not, because Greg is first to say that he can handle the aggressive dogs, but the sensitive dogs to him are always like a struggle. So, and he's probably going to slap me if he watches this later, but I mean, it's a skill. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I'd love to do more aggressive dogs, but I always get the sensitive dogs, and that's great because I know how to deal with them. So,
yeah. So first of all, I should probably credit all the women in my family for their hand in raising me. So that it's probably the biggest reason why I'm a little bit more of a sensitive guy. But being honestly speaking, though, when we got Candace, I may not have been in the best mental space. I probably had a lot to change about myself at the time. I just didn't know it.
right.
Because it wasn't manifesting in a way where we don't have any kids or anything like that. So getting a sensitive dog, I didn't have a choice, April. Like it was either change myself or give up on the dog. And I mean, at one point, honestly, it was a real kind of depressing situation, and I didn't know how to handle it. So I told my wife, I said, I don't know if we can make this work. I think we might have to return the dog. And my wife would not let me give up on her. And I thank her all the time for that. And I was forced to figure it out. And once we got professional help, the dog behaviorist, I kind of left that first consultation like, wait a minute, you mean, so why? So I'm thinking the whole time my behaviorist is over, she's talking to us for hours. Like, she's over us, she's talking to us, she's not paying attention to Candace at all. Candace is over at the corner on her bed, just kind of sleeping. And
Right.
I'm thinking to myself, at what point are we going to start, doing some dog training here? And then at the end, it clicked with me. It's like, oh, I'm the problem. It's not Candace. Yeah, Candace has her sensitivities, but it's me. I have to figure out how to communicate with her because she can't do that. She can't talk, so we as humans have to realize that, if we're going to relate and have relationships with a different species, then, it's us that has to figure out how to communicate with them. We can't expect that from an animal. And I think a lot of people don't see their dogs as an animal. I know that's
Right.
weird to say, but a lot of people see their dog as their baby,
It's true.
their kid, and you have to tell them, listen, this is an animal with his or her own needs, and we have to respect that. And once we can fulfill their needs, then they're more inclined to work with us and have a better relationship with us. And I had to learn all that, and it was all trial and error. I made many mistakes, April. I didn't have like a mentor. I had a behaviorist, like, a text away, but she had other clients, so she can't
Right.
just cater to me all the time. So I did it for a few years with her, and I feel like I got pretty good at handling the sensitive cases. I just needed more exposure to every other kind of case. So,
Right.
so yeah, I know what energy is expected of me when I can when I see a sensitive dog, or I can recognize the body language right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll be at a farmer's market and somebody will have their dog and the tail is tucked and they're kind of hunched and they're just kind of looking both side to side. And I'm like, oh, that dog is just like Candace, but the owner doesn't know it. So, yeah, I've had some people tell me that I basically started with the hardest kind of case because it takes so long for those sensitive and fearful dogs to open up to people.
Yes.
And and I'm grateful for that, April. I mean, like I said in the beginning, I wasn't really interested in being a dog trainer. I just wanted to have a better relationship with my dog. And it took time. It took a lot of time. She warmed up to my wife a lot faster than she did to me. And again, that's just only because my energy was off and I was probably just a little bit too much for her. I had to learn how to come down. And once I did that, it was a lot better of an experience for the both of us, I should say.
That's good.
Yeah.
So you've already answered my next question that I had written down was like, how do you differ from a rescue shelter? And you said quality over quantity. That's how you differ. And I think you're going to, with the education to the owner or the person that's interested is key because, the shelters or rescues, here's your dog, go hire a trainer. Right. But you have a relationship with that dog and you want to work to kind of transfer that relationship over to the new owner as long as they're on board and willing to do the work.
Yes, and I really,
okay.
That's pretty much the gist of it.
Okay. I
have so many plans though. Like I really want to create like a small community of people who want to come and like volunteer and
yes.
maybe they want to come and maybe foster a couple of the dogs. I want people to kind of be involved. That way I can get to know the people more and then the people can get to know the dogs more. Mm-hmm. So we can actually see, okay, whose energies are matching. Like that dog is high energy, but this person is low energy. So that's not going to be the right dog for you. And, obviously I'm going to have those conversations, but it's about involving more people because the rescue experience that I had, even, granted it was more of an online thing, but it was just more cold. It wasn't a warm experience. It was like, okay, here's your dog. Good luck. And then, oh, by the way, she's healthy. And then if we take her to the vet and she ends up having like heartworms and things like that. So it was just not a very good experience. So I kind of want to change people's perceptions of rescue. And by no means am I saying that my way of doing things for rescues are the only way or the best way. I do understand that there are rescues out there that are doing everything that they can, and they just don't have the resources to do the training part, right? They'll just tell you, hey, listen, this dog is better by themselves, a house with no kids, and those are, I mean, let's face it, those are kind of just assumptions, right? It's like it's a person who doesn't really have knowledge of dog behavior or they weren't trained in it. And they're just making assumptions saying, hey, this dog is aggressive. So it can only be one dog. And they're basing it
off the behavior in the kennel or the run or.
Right.
And of course, and that's really stressful situation. So a lot of times they don't assess the dog the right way.
Exactly.
Right?
So they're making a description based on a wrong assessment, and that might hinder the dog in getting adopted. I mean, we probably don't know too many people who are going to actively seek out an aggressive dog to rescue or adopt them, right?
Right.
So I by integrating more pack oriented behaviors like daily pack walks or training exercises where I can have volunteers and we can do exercises where we're all walking together and maybe there's a dog they don't know that just walks by the sidewalk and we practice not having our rescue dogs react because we don't want leash reactive dogs in our rescue, right? So put them in situations where we can find out, okay, what quirks or what issues might this dog have, because most likely we're not going to have a history on the dog. These are dogs that are coming from shelters. Right. So we're going to have to do our best to assess and to just make sure really that they're ready before we can place them in a home. Because like I said, it's quality over quantity. I'm not interested in having a certain number of adoptions for the year. It's not something that I plan on bragging about, because, if I post on Instagram saying, this was a great year, we had 8 adoptions, somebody might read that and they're like, wait a minute, you were rescuing dogs all year. You only rehomed 8 dogs. So I think that's a little, it could be a little bit out of context. So I really want to emphasize the quality over the quantity.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm paying attention to time because I'm supposed to be on a time limit here.
Sure.
So I think the next thing we were supposed to do was, do we have any tips to bringing home that rescue or shelter dog? And of course, I left my notes somewhere else, but I have them in my brain. So you go first.
I think the most important thing that you can do is not allow your brand new dog that you're bringing home to make their own decisions. So we talk about that in training a lot, right? So if you just open the door and say, welcome to your new home, and then just let them loose in your house and so that they can sniff around and do whatever they want, you're giving that dog absolute freedom and absolute, you're setting them up for failure, because now they can start, counter surfing, or they can start becoming possessive over something you left on the floor. Like we're setting them up for failure because, you're allowing them to make the choice. Also, it doesn't show leadership. So if, that the dog should, I think, in my opinion, the dog should know that everything that dog needs will come from me. So, and also crate train, I think, is important, because if you're not going to allow your dog to roam around freely, they need to be comfortable in the crate.
Right.
So if they're in the crate, no food, no water, and then you bring the food, you bring the water, and then eventually that dog will start to realize, this lady or this guy is bringing me the stuff that I need. I need the water. I need the food. Oh, I need to go outside. I need to go for a walk, or I feel like playing. Let's play. This is the guy that plays with me, or this is the woman that plays with me. So I think looking at yourself as the provider for your new dog will be a real good fast track to having a really good relationship. And that dog will learn, okay, this is my new mom or my new dad. And this is the person that gives me everything I need. So I don't need to worry about anything. Yes. Because this person has it. I don't need to do anything else.
You're taking all the worry out of it for the dog if you step up. So, that's what you just said. That was one of my items is I see a lot of things posted on Facebook about, your rescue dog needs 3 days to do whatever, 3 weeks, and then wait 3 months before you return it. And I think a lot of people see that as, I don't do anything. I just love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And then it's going to fix the problem. And that's kind of where I'm like, no, the moment that dog comes in the door, it's just like if I came to your house, you'd be like, April, here's the room you're going to stay in. Here's the bathroom you're going to use. I don't want you in my bedroom. I don't want you in my bathroom. This is your space.
Right.
And, you can hang out in here. Here's my house rules. And then we have our own etiquette we do for humans, but we need to teach the same thing to our dog immediately as it walks in. So they are clear on those expectations. So I always just kind of feel like that rule or that little thing they post on Facebook just makes me cringe, because people read it the opposite of what it really means.
I'm still waiting to meet the person that says, I never did anything and I just loved my dog and all my dog's problems went away.
Yes.
I haven't met that person yet.
I haven't either.
Yeah, I'm not even sure I met anybody who has met that person yet. I've met the people who just love their dogs and they think their dog is perfect. Well,
and that was me, right? Remember when we did our podcast, right? I shared my story and that's why I wanted to talk to you, because this resonates so much with me and my own personal history with my previous dog and what I went through with him and how I got to where I am, that Like, no, I really want to make sure that we kind of highlight this and make sure people know that you can't just love it away, because that's not going to work.
Right. It's probably the biggest mistake we as humans make with our dogs. But at the same time, I think it's going back to education, right? If you don't know what you don't know. So yes. I think if people like us were there to provide the education, more people would have less problems. But then there are those people who don't want to fix the problem. They just let their dog pull them down the street. They let their dog bark at every other dog on the leash, and they just say, oh, that's just him. That's just the way he is, and they just accept it. And
yes.
I guess that works for those people, but it doesn't work for the people that are around them. They can't I can't take my dog to a dog park if somebody is going to have that attitude with their dog at a dog park, which is why I don't go to dog parks anymore.
Right.
Because people are unfortunately are irresponsible, and they don't, they either don't know how to correct their dog, or they're just not interested in correcting their dog. So it's just one of those unfortunate things. You're never going to have people 100% on board.
Right. And I think too, like when I see that, I let myself get frustrated sometimes, which then messes my energy up with my dog. So I always have to kind of say, hey, check yourself, right? This is something you can't control. Just move on. And so I'm staying in the right mindset for my dog to help her be successful. My dog being also another rescue dog. But,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And and remind me again, your dog Smidge, you brought her to the rescue, to the workshop because what was the issue she was having? She's
leash reactive, but only in my own neighborhood. She's just very protective. So So I see it looks like Sherry joined. So I have someone coming today to have a conversation with my husband. To see if we can work through, and he's going to kill me when he sees this too. I just need it coming from somebody else and not me. Right.
I get it. And you mentioned the interview we did on the podcast. We spoke about this, and this is a good time to, I guess, let everybody know who's watching that April will be my guest on the Candace's Pack Dog Rescue Show Monday, the 15th. So tomorrow is Lisa Shirley from Frankie Lowe and Friends. And then next Monday is April Sullivan of Happy Social Dog.
So I didn't see a whole lot of question. I think McKenna asked what had happened to Roxy, if we knew where Roxy was now.
Yes. So I know that after I left, Gons from Okami K9 in Toronto, he stayed and worked with Sherry to do private lessons, and he took over working with Roxy, and from what he tells me, Roxy did excellent. And I believe Lisa was the one that rehomed Roxy, and I think from what I heard, I think she's doing great. She has a new family now, and she's doing awesome. Yeah, she's a great dog. She's a great dog.
Yeah,
I'm very grateful for her because, like I said, she was I had never met her. I never worked with her, but I had to learn how to do these techniques that we were learning at the workshop with this brand new dog that had no idea who I was. So it's like before we were talking about relationship building. I didn't have a relationship with Roxy. So she was pretty easygoing for a dog that had no idea who I was. Right. So, that was a really cool experience.
Yeah. So, now we're at the half hour. I'm really keeping on the schedule. So, since I don't see any other questions, I just want to kind of highlight how to follow you. You have a Facebook business page. Your website is cpackdogrescue.org.
Yes,
and from there, people can make donations. Your volunteer part, is that just you want local volunteers in the Central Florida area, or? Yeah,
so I need more people in the Gainesville, Florida area to basically know that I exist. But it's slowly but surely, because I am meeting some people who are interested in doing work with dogs and stuff. And to be honest with you, I'm not fully set up yet, and I have some exciting things to announce pretty soon. But we're we're starting to actually starting to get the ball rolling to where I can be set up to actually physically start rescuing dogs from shelters in the area. And one of the counties here, apparently the kill shelter, the euthanasia numbers are pretty high. So I'm going to be concentrating on pulling dogs from that county because they probably are the ones that need our help the most in this area. But yeah, as soon as I can get a team together and get a few dogs, and just kind of create a routine and just like a good pack oriented structure that we can follow every day. I would love to invite people so that they can take part in like the pack walks and if it's an opportunity for me to train and somebody who wants to learn more about dog behavior, and I will definitely do that. Those are the kind of people I need. I need like the open-minded folks, people who aren't, don't just want to play with dogs all day, because that's not really very structured, right?
Right.
So yeah, I need the calm energy people and the people who want to learn the most.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're also on Instagram at Candace's Pack Dog Rescue, and you've already mentioned you have a podcast that's on Apple and Spotify. Is that right?
Apple.
Okay.
Apple, Spotify, all the major podcast apps. It's the Candace's Pack Dog Rescue Show. Please subscribe, and I've had some awesome people on. I have some more awesome people to come. Kind of doing a bit of a season, mostly focusing on people that I've met at the workshop, and I think there are a lot of people out there that most people probably don't know about that I just wanted to feature, and they all have a story, and I just kind of gave them a platform to tell their story. So
that's
excited.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm just so excited that I had the opportunity to meet you, and that like I have this friendship with you now, and and I'm so proud of you. Like, you're so driven, and so like you're gonna go far. I see it.
Thank you.
I feel it. It's like you can look at people and just know, and you're one of those people for me. It's like I just know you're gonna make it, and I know you're gonna move. You're gonna go really far. So I really appreciate you and what you're doing, and just your lust for knowledge, and like
thank you.
You're A-okay in my book. How about that?
Thank you, April.
I'm trying to find the right words to say. I don't do compliments well, and obviously don't speak them well, but yeah.
I'm very humbled, and it's. I was just talking to my wife the other day that I can't believe that I go to one workshop, I meet all these cool people, and now I have like all these friends all over the country, and one in Canada, and it just all these like-minded people who want to help dogs and come together, and no egos really involved, and
we help each other, right?
Yeah,
and
we help each other, and I feel so lucky that because obviously I don't know everything, and I still have a lot to learn, but I can text you. I was on the phone with Gans from Okami, Canaan. I was on the phone with him on Friday night because I had questions. It's such a humbling thing to have all these people who are just encouraging. Yes. And because like whenever I doubt myself, all I have to do is I could send Sherry a text message or a message on Instagram or you and I'm like, oh, okay, I am on the right track.
I'd say go to Sherry first. She's got a lot more experience, because I'm kind of. I mean, I've got shelter experience, years of shelter experience, but I still question some things that I do, and I still look for guidance, and I don't feel like I know everything either. So I'll go wherever I need to go to get an answer.
Well, next time, I'm so excited. Like, I wish I can just like explain everything. But I'm so excited what I have down the pipe that, I can't wait to invite like you and people that that we know, and like Greg. Like I can't wait to invite people over so that it becomes more of a learning experience, and we can pick each other's brains on like what's best for the dogs, and it's going to be really, really awesome once I have everything set up the way I planned it in my head anyway.
Well, I probably won't make the East Coast for another 6 months. So you got 6 months to get it going. And then
good.
Then I'll be like, okay, JP, what's going on? Can I come visit?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that would be great. That would be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, because as of right now, I am pretty much a one-man band.
Right.
I have people who are interested in helping, which is great. But when it comes to figuring out what's best for the dogs and creating the structure and which dogs do I pull from the shelter? You know, like how much can I handle by myself before I need help from someone else? So figuring out all those little steps first is like the challenging part, because I'm kind of by myself on that. Mm-hmm. But once I take the plunge, and I know that I have people like you and people who would probably just come here, on one invite. So I'm not alone is basically what I'm saying. And
no,
it feels
not.
great. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, it's 11:40. So this was supposed to be 20 minutes. Wow.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So I tried.
Wait, hold on, April. I want to take a sip from my water here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. All right. Well, again, thank you for joining and spending a little bit of time with me today. It's good to see your face again.
Yeah.
And
thank you for having me.
To see it in person soon, but we'll work that out.
Yeah, that'd be great. And if I can go to your area one day, that'd be so great, because you guys have the guys from Oregon Tales doing workshops now. Yeah,
I'll be going there in August. I'm so excited.
Yeah, if I can make it, you'll be the first person to know.
Okay, please let me know.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much, April.
Even if it's not a weekend I'm there, I will drive to Portland to come see you. So.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll make sure. I'll take you up on that.
Okay. All right. Thanks,
All
JP.
Right.
Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, April. You too. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for listening to the Candace's Pack Dog Rescue Show. For news updates and training tips, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook. You can find us at Candace's Pack Dog Rescue. If you would like to support the rescue, please visit our website at cpackdogrescue.org. For questions and comments, you can contact us at cpackdogrescue@gmail.com. And if you like the show, please subscribe and leave a 5-star review on your podcast app.